guys? It's your pal Porter. Has this ever happened to you? Twice in one attempt at a video? You unbox the item. You give your history about it, your personal information about it. You unbox it. You cut it up. You talk about it. You go into a long spiel about the item and whether or not you should buy it, and you give a really strong argument. Then your camera runs out of memory in the middle of the video and corrupts the entire file. Well, it's happened to me twice now, and it makes me so angry. So, here's my third attempt at reviewing Porter. Well, Porter is a 2014 item released by the Thomas Wooden Railway by Mattel for 2014, and for the take two. Well, Porter here is released in 2014 by Mattel for the Thomas Wooden Railway, and as you can see, he's got a fair amount of detail on him. This is actually a pretty nice looking engine. Obviously, he's got a little bit of the bloating that the Thomas Wooden Railway has been known for since 2002, with all the added cartoonish features to the characters. Not on the show, on the models, like, I don't know, something about him just looks too big, it looks Botoxy or whatever. But you can look past that, especially with a model like Porter, who has done pretty well for what he is. Now, what I talked about in my last attempt that got corrupted was about whether or not you should buy this item. In my opinion, yes. Although I have points on both sides to talk about this. Now, I have a live action World War II movie coming up, The Life of a Soldier. I made a preview last week, and actually it's on the screen right now. If you want to go ahead and watch that, you're welcome to. And those uniforms that I wore and that my friends wore, the weapons too that they used, those are pretty expensive. My uniform alone, total investment, will be close to $400. That includes the tunic, the trousers, the boots, the helmet, the gun, the shells, the clips for the shells, and the belt, the suspenders, and everything on it. The canteen, the clips, the bread bag, the food tin, whatever. All that's going to be more and more money. And my point is, all the items that will go around my belt, that being the belt buckle, the canteen, the food tin, the bread bag, and the ammo pouches, all together, those are $20 each, which would mean it's about $100 for everything on my belt. I say $20 each because, looking at my receipt here, the unit price is $13.99, United States. Shipping $2.95. Total $16.94. That's close to $17, which, when you think about it, is actually pretty close to $20. Now, if this is close to $20, and I could buy a canteen for $20, if I bought East German, it'd be less expensive. But my point is, what am I doing buying Porter? If I need stuff for my uniform, which, as you can tell from the clip, it's not really complete. I still need the suspenders and the belt that just came yesterday. I still need everything that goes on the belt. So what am I doing spending my money on Porter when I could be buying all that stuff? And preparing for that movie, which is being shot in only a couple weeks. That was just a sneak preview, which is actually a scene from the movie, but my point is, what am I doing buying Porter? What would you be doing buying Porter if you had all this other stuff to invest in? Well, then there comes the other side. Thomas and Friends is not something that you gamble with, especially if you're one of us fellow YouTubers or just a fan. If you're one of us, lifelong fans, you know it's not really easy to say no to Thomas, especially when new characters come out like Porter. So, you really don't want to not buy Porter. You don't want to not buy anything Thomas. Because Thomas is a special part of your life. It's been with you probably since you were young, and probably will continue to be with you unless for some reason you decide to grow out of it. So, it's not really something that you can give up. And especially if you're a merchandise collector like I am. I collect every realm of merchandise. I've got Ertl, Trackmaster Tomy, I've got Mini Ertl, I've got Take and Play, I've got everything. And so you can't really give it up so easy. And you can't say no to it so easy. Especially if it's one of these guys, one of the new guys. So, when you're a lifelong fan, you don't want to say no to this stuff. And quality-wise, it's better than last year. But it's not there yet. It's not where we used to be in years up to 2002 and even up to now, before Mattel. Now, I'm not saying Mattel is killing the Thomas Wooden Railway. It's not. It's continuing. Believe me, if in 2012, we were talking about the end of the Thomas Wooden Railway. Some of us were actually considering, or actually thinking about the end of the Thomas Wooden Railway. Now, I thought it was going to continue, and it does. It's still here. And thankfully that happened, but with the quality stuff, he's not there. He's kind of like Luke, except he's more dense. There's more density to this model, which I really like. I like what they did. And with Porter, you can't really say no to this item. Like I've been saying for the past 5 minutes, it's a new item. But honestly, if there's more stuff that you need to invest in, put this thing 5th on your list of things to invest in, because this isn't the first thing I'd buy. I would buy stuff for my uniform, as would you guys buy stuff for your other interests. But Thomas is really up there, and for some of you, it's number 1. Thomas is there for you. That's my cat. Thomas is like, it's really up there for me. It's number 1. It's tied with stuff, but it's number 1. So my point is, if you think that you've got other things to invest in, don't buy it. But if you're a lifelong fan, and if you can get past the financial burden, and if you can get past the quality burden, buy him. God love and buy him. Because the detail is superb on this engine. The face is beyond outstanding. The aesthetics are so good, and just the basic details of Porter, they did it all right. Now obviously I wouldn't want him so bulgy in terms of his face, but it's not gonna change like that. So for what he is, I mean, he's got buffers. When have we last seen buffers on a Thomas Wooden Railway model? Never, actually. Besides a few exceptions like Steven and Scruff and the limited edition stuff that came with a little magnetic stand or whatever. Magnetic and wooden stand, like the Thomas comes to breakfast, James goes buzz buzz. But other than that, we've never really seen buffers in full swing. And I think with these new engines, Mattel wants to start doing that more. Which is good. It's something new. And we love new things. Like, we love new engines, and we love Porter, and we love the re-release of Duck. We love all that other stuff. So this is something new. Something new that's very good about the item. And honestly, only about 30% of me is saying not to buy him. The rest of me is saying buy him. Because the left brain part of me says don't buy him. The right brain part of me says buy him. Boy, if I just said that, that whole argument would have been a lot shorter. Well, yeah, that about sums it up. If the right brain part of you says buy it, the left brain says don't buy it. Go with your right brain. Because this engine is superb in all aspects, besides quality and financial burden, except that's not really up to Porter, is it? That's not really up to his design. That's just what he's made of, and that's what he's sold under. If those two little things make the left brain part of you turned off, don't buy them. But other than that, buy them. Now let's get to some of the other stuff. Before, my camera did things to me twice. Before it said no internal memory twice and corrupted both files. I talked about the box. There's a new feature of this box which I think has been influenced by some YouTube users actually, which means you pull this tab and then you rip the box open like that. I didn't do that. I opened it the old-fashioned way because I have this wall of TWR stuff and Ertl stuff. You can see 10 cents and some of the other stuff up there, the factory errors, whatever. So I'm gonna put the box up there because I don't have any 2014 boxes up there yet. But if you guys want to recycle the boxes, then go ahead. If you know, except I'm not gonna do that. It's just something I thought I'd want to point out. So other than the stuff that I've already spoken about, I'm gonna talk about a little bit of the history. So Porter's an engine from season 17. It will be in Tale of the Brave. And a little bit of my personal info is I live in Maryland, and which is the United States. So we've had Day Out with Thomas for a while. It's been a big part of my life, going up to the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum, seeing the big old Thomas. It's not the dummy Thomas. It's the real thing. They have the money to bring in the real thing. And I've seen it a couple times. There was a time actually there was no Day Out with Thomas because so many people that live in this mid-Atlantic area, you know what I'm talking about. There's a big blizzard in 2002, 2004, and the roundhouse collapsed. Oh, it was devastating to the people there because so many engines from the 1830s on were either completely destroyed or damaged really bad. Like the Starbridge Lion, with the first engine ever in the United States, thankfully is inside. It's in the hallway, so thankfully it wasn't destroyed. But some of the other engines, like there were coaches there from the 1840s. It was like a Manchester Railway or something. They got beat up. And there was a big old steam engine. A lot of steam engines got damaged. A lot of the big old engines. If you see it on my Amtoman account, it looks like the General. The General on my other account, it looks like General. He got pretty beat up pretty bad. The roof caved in of the cab. The cab caved in, so it's got like a big old glass case in front of it now. And that's the case with many of the engines. But anyway, the engine at Day Out with Thomas was based on Porter. Some of you don't know. It was like called BET-15, BEDT-15 or something like that. So I just thought it interesting how this engine has some ties with the Thomas fandom. And the Strasburg Railway had them too for a while. I remember I went there during the times when they were rebuilding in Baltimore. So I seen them,
some of you other American Thomas fans, you might have seen him if you live close enough to, or if you've lived close to a railway. But that's just my personal background on Porter, so I think he's going to be a really interesting character to see, and I can relate to him. That's one of the 3 things you want to look for. The left brain side, which is the price, the quality, but then there's also the personal history you have with him, how relatable he is to you, and then finally, you know, just the Thomas, the fact that it's Thomas. You know, how well does this engine fit in? How does he fit in? You know, so those are the 3 things you want to look for: price, cost, quality, whatever. Personal relatability. It doesn't always have to be all 3, and Thomas. You know, just how he is in the Thomas and Friends community. How is he in Thomas and Friends itself? And so here he strikes all 3 for me. So that's about it, actually. I don't have much else to say in this video. I spent 15 minutes talking about just Porter. So a lot of other people have Porter, I know that. If you guys want to see more reviews, just request them. I'll make more. I'm actually backed up on some requests. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to them yet, but I'll go ahead and make them soon. My next episode, Bill and the Lorry and Tommy the Tank Engine, they'll be coming up soon. I'm not going to do any filming today. I'm pretty tired. I've got some managing for the life of a soldier to do. So that's going to wrap up this video, and stay tuned for some more videos in the future. And that about wraps us up. Okay, this is Hero the Japanese Train signing off.
Hey guys, this is a quick follow-up to my Porter video. I'm picking up this model and looking at it, and I'm realizing there's these weird splotches on him. There's a little black splotch right there, a little white dot, and they're painted on. Well, this one you can actually feel a little bit of a dent. I just noticed this, like, not 5 minutes ago. It's pretty sloppy cutting over here to make it round, too. Interesting. And I'd only just noticed this because I was staring at the other side of the model. That's really interesting. Well, anyway, that's going to wrap up the Porter review for a second time. This is Hero the Japanese Train officially signing off.